the part about the Truth and Reconciliation Commission process. It unearthed many stories of Clark's experience. It was produced and the executive summary was published in June 3rd, 2015, and the 6-volume report was in December 15th, and it's out available now. We have it in Mi'kmaq Resource Center, and I do believe there is one in the library, and I have a personal copy at home. The very first volume, it's 2 books in volume 1, and it highlights the history of the whole residential school aspect of it, as well as partly about the experience of First Nations peoples in Canada. And it gives you background about the history of Aboriginal peoples and their history under the colonialism that happened in Canada. And the other chapters highlight personal, individual stories of survivors from the residential school. It also accounts for those that didn't make it, few that died. Some of them are not even known where they are buried. Their families don't know where to grieve for their losses. And the other chapters more or less highlight how reconciliation can happen in Canada through the government system, the federal, provincial, municipal, and even First Nations governments, what they could do to help reconcile all of us to one another, Canadians and First Nations or Indigenous people or Aboriginal people or Métis, First Nations, Indian registered, status Indians, Métis, Inuit, all those that are described under the Canadian Constitution. There are also other aspects that have been highlighted. Schools, from nursery and daycare, what they can do to help instill learning in young children, Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal, elementary and secondary and post-secondary recommendations that are made to help all of us, Indigenous as well, to understand our culture and our history. And they are also focusing on the media, the newspapers, the magazines, the national newspapers, the national television, TV, CTV, CBC, how they can focus on stories on Aboriginal people in Canada, and how they can not only focus their stories, but hire Aboriginal people to commentate and tell the news or the weather or become anchors.